welcome back to the Polishing Podcast, the only podcast where Pixelated Apollo was once a host and continued on after him. That's a little bit of a joke because he's had I don't know how many podcasts. I know there's been one other that he did. But I'm Nico, otherwise known as Nico All Powerful, your host. And today I'm going to be talking about, kind of just a ranty kind of thing since I've been working. Sorry that this episode is a little late. Usually these go up on Friday morning, but I have to work a lot. So I don't have a lot of time to record whenever I want to, unfortunately. But yes, before we get into that, this is the Polishing Podcast. If this is your first time listening, thank you for checking this out. There is a Patreon if you would like to support it, patreon.com/polishingpodcast. You can get this a podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and I would really appreciate it if you rated and reviewed it on iTunes because that helps the podcast be seen by more people. But yes, so today is going to be a little more ranty, ravey kind of thing because, as some of you know from watching, from looking at Twitter, if you follow me there or if you just check my Twitter page every once in a while, you know that I got a job. I tweeted out today as of recording this that I found out through an app I downloaded that over the past 5 days that I've been working, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, I walked 49 miles. It's a lot in those couple of days. It's almost 10 miles a day. Because I'm working in fulfillment at Target. Fulfillment is basically just the work of fulfilling orders, online orders, order pickup orders, and stuff like that. And it is not, I wouldn't say it's difficult in any way, shape, or form, but it is obviously physically exhausting, and it's just, I'm not here to bitch and moan about the actual job itself. It's tough because, I'm walking almost 9 miles a day. But the thing I'm, mostly going to kind of rant about is the fact that I had to work on a Saturday. I'm scheduled to work the next Saturday as well. And people are so goddamn dumb. And the reason I say that is because, just because you can order something to be picked up at a store doesn't mean you have to. Also, Target's fucking database doesn't update regularly enough that you should trust it as someone who works there. Just don't fucking do that. Even if you check online to see if it has an item, it doesn't mean it actually does. The database doesn't update fast enough, and sometimes it'll say we have things when we don't. It'll say nothing on the floor, nothing in the back, but we'll have 4 of them, which makes no sense because if it's not located anywhere, then we probably don't have it because where the fuck would it be at that point? So, yeah, it's dumb as shit. That part is really dumb. Also, Target's trying to play catch up with Amazon, and they're 10 years too fucking late because all of your orders are not being put into a warehouse where people are picking things and getting them pretty easily. If you order for something from Target, it's coming from a Target store. It's not coming from a warehousing thing where it's really easy for people to be like, oh, okay, we got to go down to this aisle and take that thing. Some of the stuff does come from the back room that is set up kind of like a warehousing area. Most of the stuff comes off the shelves on the store, or on the shelves in the store. There we go. Which is asinine, really. But yeah, I don't want to rant and rave about that. That process, it's dumb. The fact that they're trying to be like Amazon when they clearly aren't equipped to do it is stupid. The fact that they don't seem to, the CEOs, corporate side of thing, don't seem to understand that a retail chain that suddenly gets busy during the holiday months and isn't given enough hours to hire enough people to properly staff the fulfillment section to actually, train people correctly and well and thoroughly and to handle this load of online orders that is suddenly supposed to take on is ridiculous. And it's one of the reasons why a lot of retail stores, like brick and mortar stores, are going out of business, because they are playing catch up with Amazon years and years after the fact, and B, whenever they implement things, they do it kind of not as great. It's kind of a half measure. They say, oh, we can get away with doing this because if we do this, it'll cost us too much money on the front end. And in the end, it just doesn't fucking work out. But anyway, the thing I really want to rant about is just the fact that Saturday, so the reason it got so busy most likely is because the pre-Black Friday stuff has dropped. So people can see the sales, but none of it's those prices yet. So people are ordering things way before they should be, which is dumb on their part, but whatever. So I was working Saturday thinking, okay, Friday was kind of busy. I mean, Saturday's definitely going to be probably as busy just because it's the weekend. People are going to be home. They're going to order stuff offline. That's fine. I'll be doing OPUs, whatever. I picked one standard cart. And to get an understanding of what that means is one cart is one order. A standard order is a thing that we have to do because every day we get orders and we're supposed to fulfill them all. When I started on Monday, I got through 3 or 4 carts. And Saturday, I literally got so many OPU orders, which OPU stands for order to pick up, I think, that I barely finished the one standard cart I had of regular orders, or of a regular order. No, because it's multiple orders, but whatever. I barely finished it through a whole 8-hour day. That's nuts. And there were about 3 or 4 more people than there usually are. And it still wasn't enough because they since Target enacted this order online, pick up in the store thing, obviously there was, somebody had to do it, but it seems like they didn't give fulfillment more hours. They just went, you guys have to do this now. Which is ridiculous for corporate to do, to just enact an entirely new thing and just go, yeah, you guys have to do it. And it's like, oh, okay, does that mean we get more people? And they went, ha, and then walked away. Because that's what it seems like, because during the regular weekdays when I was there, I think 5-6 people are scheduled, because we're staggered out, and the first person that gets there, he gets in at 6 and he leaves at 2:30. The second person comes in at 7, leaves at 3:30. Third person comes in at 8, 4:30. I come in at 9, 5:30, so on and so forth, until the last person comes in at 1 o'clock and they leave at 11:30 at night. Or if they're not scheduled the whole 8.5 hours or whatever, then they don't. But the craziest part about it is that on Saturday, I think there were, I don't know, 8 more or so people scheduled. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. There was just more people. And even then, we were still struggling to keep up. The amount of orders was insane. It's truly a mess every single year. And they never seem to be able to actually meet it head on, which is crazy, because you think at some point someone would come up with a plan, but nobody ever has a good plan. And if you didn't know before, I worked at the same Target about a year and some change ago, almost 2 years at this point. And I'm back because the opportunity I had before, no longer a thing, so I needed money, so I went back to Target, and it's not great. I'll be honest. This is actually really grueling, and it hurts. And it hurts my body. But I'm not going to bitch and moan about that right now. I might later, but not now. So just know that we're getting more orders and more orders and more orders. And on top of that, the store on a Saturday was just filled with people. Just fucking filled with people, to the point where the check lanes had all of the people that could be on them on each and every check lane, which honestly I've never seen a person, like a cashier at every single lane, except for one, because the PCOS point of sale, is it just POS? I don't know. The fucking, register was broke and it couldn't be used, like that whole system. So every check lane is like got tons of people in it. The self checkout is like all the way down and wrapped around. Like it's got to be at least like 13, 15 people deep, just waiting to use self checkout. And I have to continuously go past all of these people to try to get to guest services, which is where all of the OPU orders are placed. And it's fucking absurd. So that's crazy. Also, people have literally no self-awareness once they get into a grocery store or a retail store. None whatsoever. The amount of people who don't hear this loud-ass cart coming towards them is actually insane. If I didn't pay, I don't know, half as much attention as I do when I'm working, a lot of people would get ran the fuck over because you just are fucking stupid. So many people would just walk in front of it without paying attention and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, how do you miss this giant bright red cart and the fucking person on the end of it also wearing red? Like, it's so crazy to me that people like just stand in the middle of an aisle and they push their cart out to the side, and it's like, move off to the side. In what world do you just cause traffic jams for no fucking reason? Move your cart over, move yourself over, get out of the middle of the fucking walkway. Like, it's nuts. People are dumb as shit and they have no spatial awareness whatsoever. It's like they enter the fucking store and they're like, this is where I live. Obviously, I can do whatever I want. But yeah, it's wild. It's crazy. And I don't understand how these people go out in public. Because if this is how they just walk around and put their bodies in front of things, I don't know how they drive and don't just get into accidents all the time. Because a lot of people drive to this Target, even though we're in the city with a bunch of public transport and 2 bus stations like really close by, both going inbound and outbound. But whatever. It's fucking nuts. The fact that so many people come in there and are absolutely like, duh, and just get in the way of shit. But yeah, after yesterday, I couldn't believe how just blatantly unaware people are of the things going on around them, because they just don't pay attention because they think they're the most important thing on the planet, which is probably true if you're thinking about yourself, like, but fucking, you're at a public place. Get out of the way. Pay attention. Just any kind of awareness would be nice. But yeah, I don't have much else other than that. Just the fact that people are stupid as hell and I'm supposed to be nice to them, even though it's like, get out of the fucking way. I have 40 minutes to make sure that this is done. Just move a little bit out of the way. And it's just like people will just crowd around shit because they think, oh, I see a friend, I'm going to talk to them. And then they just stop in the middle of like the main aisle. And it's like, what are you doing? Go into an aisle. Do fucking anything. Don't do that. It's the worst. It's the absolute worst. And I can't wait to keep dealing with it. Oh, wait, that's sarcasm. I don't want them in the store. But yeah. It's terrible. It's really bad. But I'm going to try to not talk about that anymore, because if I rant and rave about Target and only Target, I don't think anybody's going to want to listen to this podcast anymore. To be completely honest. But yeah. Video game stuff. Death Stranding is out. I have no real interest in the game. I know a lot of people are super interested and hyped because, nobody knows really anything about the game, because how could you? The trailers revealed basically nothing. And that's cool. I don't care. I don't know. Like, the gameplay looked like a lot of walking, which is fine. If that's what you're into, then more power to you, but it's not what I'm into. So, excuse me. I don't care about Death Stranding. I know a lot of people are going to be like, what? what? It's the most hyped game ever. I mean, it probably is the most hyped game ever at this point. But yeah, I just don't give a shit about it. It's not that I hate it or I don't like it or I don't want other people to like it. I personally just do not care about it. I'm sure, Hideo Kojima and his entire team and all of the actors that worked on the game did really, all of them did well and did everything they wanted to do. And it's like, it was a well put together and made game. I just don't want to play it. I have no interest. But that's out now, and the reviews are polarizing as hell. Some people saying it's really amazing, other people saying it's extremely boring, and it's a lot of people are arguing that it comes down to whether or not you see games as art or games as just like things to have fun with. And I am of the mind that they can be fucking both. So I don't know, maybe review it as, both. I don't know. I don't know. Reviews have always been strange to me in that regard because it's obviously someone's opinion, and whether or not you agree with that person's opinion is more dependent on whether or not you agree with their mindset and what they find interest in. So the fact that so many people look to reviews as like the end all be all, whether or not a video game is good or not, is kind of strange. And one of the main criticism people like to talk about when they like point at reviews and say how the system is flawed is Call of Duty. Every year, no matter what Call of Duty game it is, Call of Duty at least gets 80s across the board, like high 80s, if not 90s, and not so much hundreds. I don't think a Call of Duty's ever gotten like perfect score or 8s and 9s, not so many 10s. A lot of people would say that Call of Duty is not a good game. In fact, Black Ops 4 reviewed very well for what it was, which was multiplayer focused only with Battle Royale, the regular multiplayer modes, and zombies, even though zombies was a fucking mess when that game released. Completely just broke and crashed a lot. People were like trying to get really high round counts. They were trying to get really high in the rounds. I don't know how to say this correctly. They were trying to get really high score when it comes to the zombies, and the game would just crash and none of it would save. Which sucks. Well, it sucks a lot. But I mean, Black Ops 4 made, really good review scores. And Black Ops 4 also did the thing that a couple Call of Duties previously to it did, which was hide its microtransactions until after reviews came out, and it was like a month and a half, 2 months later, and all of a sudden the game is just full of crates and all sorts of garbage and it had a battle pass that also had crates that had shit in it, and then they had put weapons in the game, and the only way to get weapons was to either spend a shit ton of money on the battle pass, or so you could go through and skip to the weapons, or just grind a crazy amount of the game. And yeah, not great. And these are brand new weapons with stats and all that kind of like different stats, different fire rates, all kinds of stuff. It's not just like skins for weapons that don't affect the game at all. So some people were like saying that the game's now pay to win and all that stuff. And everybody's thinking that's going to happen for Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So far it hasn't. They said they're no longer doing a microtransaction-based system with crates and all that stuff. Yet to be seen. Activision has made it kind of clear where they stand, and the fact that they say they're only going to do a battle pass system hasn't been implemented yet. It's only it's only November. Game came out at the end of October. It's only been 2 weeks maybe. So who knows what's going to happen with that. But that's one of the things is Call of Duty Call of Duty Modern Warfare reviewed very well. The campaign was reviewed well. The multiplayer was reviewed well. But just because something's got good reviews doesn't mean anything. So who the fuck knows what's going to happen later on down the line. And that's one of the things is if you don't like a game, it doesn't matter how well it's been reviewed, you're not going to like it. I could tell somebody who only loves strategy games that Mass Effect is one of the best RPG trilogies of games to exist in the story-driven RPG world ever, and it's got really good reviews up until Andromeda, but that's a sad sour spot in the Mass Effect universe. Also, I said trilogy, so it doesn't matter. Andromeda isn't a part of the main Mass Effect 1, 2, 3 trilogy. But what I like, if I were to recommend that to them, that doesn't mean anything, because just because they're really good games with really gripping and enthralling story doesn't mean somebody who plays strategy games is going to like them literally at all. And in fact, if I know that's not what they're into and still recommend it and they go play it, they could come back and be like, well, I don't like it. Just because something's reviewed well doesn't mean everyone will like it. Red Dead Redemption 2 is another thing. People loved that game, but some people also hated that game because they thought it was boring and meandering and slow. And that's okay. Just because somebody has an opinion of something where it doesn't align with the rest of the people that are talking about something doesn't mean they're automatically wrong. It just means they don't have the same interests. And I think people forget that a lot. I like shooters. I like Call of Duty. I've grown up playing Call of Duty since I was 16. Like 16 or so, because Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, it's been like the anniversary, I think 10-year anniversary of that game coming out is either today or yesterday or something. I saw stuff on Twitter about it. So I was 16 back when Call of Duty World at War came out, and I kind of played that, but not really. Modern Warfare 2 was like the first one I got into, and I came home from high school after I did my homework, and I just got online and played with friends, ran around doing stupid shit. If Trent was here, he would talk about the one time he convinced an entire lobby of random ass people to join him to do a fucking turtle match in Search and Destroy. And if you're wondering what that means, it's where we would pick riot shields as our primary, swap weapons to put them on our back, and instantly prone out to the ground and crawl around, and that's it. We convinced an entire random lobby to do that with us, and it was wild. So, I have a lot of good memories of that. But somebody who has only ever played, I don't know, fucking Madden might not like Call of Duty. I mean, a lot of people like to say, people who play Madden or NBA 2K, whatever, or like any of the FIFA games or like any sports games, and Call of Duty are like, that's all they play. It's like, but that's not true. Just because somebody likes Madden, NFL 2018, 2019, 2020, whatever, doesn't mean they actually do like Call of Duty. People just say that because they're all yearly released or annually released games. That's it. Which is fair. Like, I can understand the idea behind saying like, oh, people who only play Madden also play Call of Duty, and those are the only games they play. They're not real gamers. Da 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 da. But also, if playing video games doesn't make you a gamer, then what kind of fucking weird subgenre? What's the word I'm looking for? Oh God, what is the word? Something gate, something. Oh no! What is the word? You got any more fucking words in my brain? I can't remember. I can't just locking people out of stuff for no real reason. Oh my God, it's gonna bother the shit out of me. It's not time gating. It's got to do with time. What the fuck? Oh, gatekeeping. There it is. Gatekeeping things from somebody based on subgenres is stupid as hell. Saying people who only play mobile games aren't gamers doesn't make any fucking sense. Mobile games are video games. Even if you don't like them and you don't like the mechanics of them, doesn't make them less of a video game. There are people that, that will say stuff like, oh yeah, but if you played like Bejeweled and Candy Crush and that's it, are you really a gamer? And I'm like, if we're going to make the overarching super genre like not broad enough to fit into people who casually game on their phone, then I guess not. But that doesn't make any sense to me. I've taken a turn. This conversation's now talking about genres, apparently. because I don't even know how I got here. Honestly, I don't remember how I got to this point with the genre talk. But one of the things I don't like is like the genre gatekeeping of things, especially in music. But I'll get into that after I finish my kind of first thought, which is the fact that don't lump people into things for no real reason. I play Call of Duty. I play Destiny. I've also played fucking Mass Effect, Witcher. What else do I have on my Steam list that I've played? All of the Dark Souls games. I have a fucking Bloodborne tattoo. Like, just because somebody likes Call of Duty doesn't mean they don't like quote unquote real games. Like, I mean, all of the Soulsborne shit, like, and you're like, oh, you like Call of Duty, I bet you don't like anything cool or hard to play. It's like, I played through all of Bloodborne without ever summoning anybody. Beat all those bosses by myself. That's it. So, eat a dick. I don't know. I got good, son. Fucking, what's the first boss in the Old Blood DLC is fucking tough no matter what. But I beat him by myself. Because honestly, summoning the one guy just gives him too much more HP that it makes it mostly harder on you. So I guess technically you could be like, oh, I summoned him, but then I let him die really quick because, I mean, the circumstances of which you would have to like have that character die without doing damage and then you kill the boss by yourself is so fucking specific that like I don't give a shit. Like, oh, cool if you did it. Oh, cool, awesome. I don't care. I'm not gonna try to do that shit. I beat it by himself as is. I'm not, whatever. Yeah. But that's the thing is like judging people based off what they play and being like, oh, you're not a real gamer unless you played this game is ridiculous. Like, why? It's so weird to me. It's never made sense. Like, so the thing I was about to get into with music is I listen to a lot of metal music. And, you know, metal in and of itself is a subgenre of rock and roll because I think if you want to get like into the broadest aspects of genres, I would say it's like hip hop, rock, and let's see. And I guess technically those are both branching off of jazz because they have influences from that. And then, you know, classical music was like one of the first big things. It's like, but when you really want to get down to it, like, obviously you don't want to go, okay, well, technically everything is just derived from Bach's Eighth Sonata or like from whatever or symphony or whatever the fuck. Obviously, I don't know what I'm talking about, but like, who the fuck? No, don't say shit like that. It's like asinine. It's gatekeepy. It's weird. Like, what the fuck? No. But like, if you want to get into like the biggest genres without just being like, there's only one genre and that's music and being all pretentious like that, is to say like, you know, rock and roll and metal are not the same, obviously, but they, you know, metal is a branching off point of the rock and roll genre. Even hard rock is a branching off point of rock and roll. And the weird part to me is when people say stuff like, oh, nu metal isn't metal music. It's in the fucking name. What does that mean? What does that mean? Like, how are you going to say the genre is blank, blank, and be like, oh, but it isn't blank? Like, just imagine real quick. If at one point, let's say, who's a really big artist? I mean, let's just say Drake. He's a rapper / not R&B, hip hop artist. He also has those slow sad boy jams though. Is that R&B? I don't know. R&B has always been a fucking genre that's confused the hell out of me ever since I was a kid. Don't really understand that part. But let's just go with all right, you know what? It's simpler. Eminem. He's a rapper. We know he's a rapper. Cool. Eminem one day comes out and says his music isn't rapping. He's not a rapper. Why? Or not Eminem himself. That doesn't make any... That's not the point I'm trying to make. Let's try to rethink this. Because it's genre stuff. I'm trying to think of somebody really popular that it would make more sense to. Oh, let's see. Like, I don't know. It's a hard thing to think of because genres in and of themselves are so nebulous. And musicians are so, nebulous or should be, so that way they can incorporate different sounds and things into their music, that it's hard to actually think of a good example of this. But the idea of saying this genre is not a part of this genre, even when they share a name, it doesn't make any sense to me. There are people that legitimately think nu metal is not a part of the metal genre because of its rock and rap influence. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean? It has metal in the name. What is going on? That kind of weird gatekeepy thing is I don't get it. And I know there's people out there well, the definition of nu metal is da 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 da. But it's but then call it new rock or something. I don't know. Don't call it nu metal and then have people go and then be mad at people for going, oh yeah, one of my favorite metal bands is da da da, and then go, whoa, that's not metal, that's nu metal. And it's what the fuck does that mean? What do you mean it's not metal then? That doesn't make sense. There are people that don't think metalcore is metal, and it's well, then why is it in the fucking name? That kind of shit. I hate that shit. Very specific, nitpicky genre shit. It happens in the video game community a lot with roguelites and roguelikes. And the reason I emphasize the t and k on those is because those are the important parts. A roguelite is different from a roguelike in a way that I can't describe to you because I don't know it. Honestly, there are people that are really anal about when you call a video game either one of those things, but I don't actually know the difference. I just know I like games from both of them, and that's it. And some people are like, oh, this isn't a roguelite, this is a roguelike. And it's a big deal that you don't get it mixed up. And I don't understand why it's that big a deal. I just don't. And I know some people would be like, well, if we don't, have genres and stuff, then how will people ever know what kind of games they like? And I'm like, I don't care. Fuck it. I played Guitar Hero for so long. And it's it's not a training game. It's not a guitar training program. It's just a rhythm game. But before Guitar Hero, for the longest time, the only rhythm game anybody knew was Dance Dance Revolution. But look at how you play them. They're so different. How could you say they're the same game? Whoa. That kind of shit. What? At that point, does it really matter anymore? I don't know. It's just weird, nitpicky, gatekeepy, and I don't like it. It feels pretentious. It feels like, I know more than you, indubitably. Look at my monocle when I wipe my ass with money. Kind of thing. That's how pretentious it feels to me to tell people, oh, you don't like this, you like that. Because this isn't that. Even though this may have similarities to that, you're not this. And it's just what the fuck does that even mean? Honestly, say what you just said back to me. Think about it for a second and then ask yourself, wait, what the fuck? That, I don't get it. I don't understand. But yeah, those are things that I don't like about genres of music and video games and just classifying things in and of themselves. I mean, classifying stuff is important. I'm not going to say that it's not because, it's good for a multitude of things. You don't want to try to buy an action game and find out it's fucking, I don't know, My Little Ponies Adventures. And it's it's a quote unquote action game. But it's not. If, there's a big difference between, God of War and this fake My Little Pony game. Technically, they're both action, but, but that's why subgenres and stuff exist. And it's just crazy when people start to get, really, really, really nitpicky. It's oh, but God of War's not an action game anymore. There's RPG elements in it, and you got to do this, and you got to do that. And it's fucking come on, dude. It's an action game. It's a third person RPG light action game. Like, yeah, I just put a lot of identifiers onto that. But like, if I were to just describe it to someone who doesn't play games, doesn't know what RPG Light or IRPG elements are, I would just be like, it's an action game. Yeah, you unlock abilities and stuff later on as you progress, but it's mostly just, action game, combos, that kind of thing. You would get the gist of it pretty quickly. So I get it, but it's just, there's certain things where it feels like gross, you guys know what I'm talking about. I don't need to like keep on qualifying my feelings about this, endlessly. Cause if that's the case, we're just going to get into a loop and then I'll never end this episode of the podcast and it'll never come out and you'll never hear it. And that's not good. But yeah, genre stuff is weird to me. I've never understood the nitpickiness of people. It's just a weird thing. I don't care. It's not a big deal to me. I guess that's the thing. I guess my main thing is that I don't suffer from the same like super fandom as some people have. In fact, I guess you could say like I don't suffer, like, I shouldn't say suffer. That's kind of fucked up and judgmental. I don't have the fandom thing because my favorite band for the longest time has been August Burns Red. Favorite video games. People can talk shit about them. People can talk shit about August Burns Red. People can talk shit about anything I like. And I don't have the want or the need or the feeling to defend that thing. I'm just like, whatever. You don't like it. I don't care. And that's where it ends for me. I just don't care if you don't like the things I like. Like, that's it. I don't know. It's not that hard for me to accept that you don't have similar taste as me if you don't. I know some people just can't stand it when somebody they look up to or admire or, I don't know, just listen to their opinion and stuff, don't like the shit they like. But you don't have to go, I hate you now. You're the worst person ever. I can't believe you don't like this game I like. Da-da-da-da-da. Like, yeah, I played the Division 2. I pre-ordered a really expensive version of it because I was like, oh, the Division 1 was really fun. I'm excited for the sequel because they could, do better things with it. Let's see what happens. And then the Division, I haven't played a Division 2 in, I don't know, it's like almost a year. Probably a year since it came out because I just, nothing in that game makes me want to come back to it because there's just, they keep changing things so often that I don't like. It's supposed to be like a loot game, but if every 2 months you change how loot is acquired, what the loot actually does, what the talents are on the loot, I'm just gonna be like, I don't know what to fucking chase anymore because you change everything on me as soon as I get something. But yeah, if you keep changing everything, then what is there to do? One of the things I went back to Destiny 2 for is because it's in a really good spot from a PvE standpoint, especially if you haven't kept up with everything. You can come back. There's like the menagerie, the fucking Black Armory stuff. You've got, all kinds of quests for exotic weapons and stuff that you can solo. Like, not all of them are like fire team reliant, thankfully. There are pinnacle weapons and the ritual weapons and like there's a bunch of stuff you can go for and go after and it's fun. And I don't get caught up in the like power gain stuff where some people are like, oh, I'm never going to get to 960. It's never going to happen. Or 980, I think it is, or whatever. Because, or is it 960? I think it's 960. 980 seems way too fucking high for the next thing. But like the hard cap is like 960 or something. Soft cap was 950. And they get pinnacle rewards, which will give you +2 power up until you get 960 or something. And I'm like, cool. I don't give a shit. Like it's like I hit 950, and I'm actually like 951 or 2 at this point. I think I'm probably 951 now that I'm thinking about it. Not including the artifact in Destiny. What was I trying to say? Probably 951, but I'm not stressed out about going to 960 because I don't care. Like a lot of people are like, oh, the power gains, they're so inconsistent. There's no protection. You could end up getting 5 things of gloves off of these weekly pinnacle rewards and never getting there. It could take you 80 weeks. It's like, it doesn't seem like that's what they want you to do in the first place. Like, I don't know. it's, I don't know, the people that like really, 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 really grind in like Destiny and the Division and are like, I did everything and I have the best gear and the best roles. What do I do now? And it's like, well, you did it. No, but I gotta do more, right? And it's like, you're done. I don't know. Fucking kill things. Go play PvP or something. You're done. What did you played 700 hours in 2 weeks, which isn't physically or, possible, defies all the laws of physics, doesn't make any sense. Time's relative, but what the fuck, dude? How did you do that? Get grind. And it's like, those people, you're lost. Like, you'll never be satisfied with the amount of content in the game because you'll consume it in such a short, rapid period that, like, there's no, like, not even Fortnite can keep up with those people that want to just have the newest and most and best stuff all the time. It's just not possible to keep up with them, which is fucking absurd. The fact that there are people out there that consume content in that rate is just absolutely mind-boggling. I wish I had as much free time as you to do that. Like, even like with me being kind of, I guess laid off isn't the wrong term. When Destiny 2 New Light came to Steam, which is, the free-to-play launch of Destiny 2, that I have 206 hours since it became available on Steam, which is a lot of hours over the last month. But like, if I were to, divide that out, I think it comes down to like 6 hours a day or something. So what is today? Well, it doesn't matter. 206 divided by, let's just say 30. Yeah, almost 7 hours a day. But like, there were days where I played more. There were days where I played less. There were days where I didn't play at all. But we're talking people who sit down, play for 12 hours straight every day, day in, day out. Like, double my time, which is nuts. And I played a lot, and I've done a lot. But there are people out there that do it even more, and they'll never be satisfied with any game, even if it is like games as a service kind of thing. So, I don't know. That's weird to me. That's really weird. But I'm also not upset that the Division 2, going back to that, my main point, I think that's my main point, that game didn't come out the way I wanted it to. Maybe could be awesome one day, and I can go back and play it, and it'll be fucking cool. But right now, it's not in the spot that I want to play it. In fact, honestly, I'm fine with playing a little bit of Modern Warfare and a lot of Destiny 2, because Destiny 2's got its hooks in me deep, and that's fine. I really like playing Destiny. It's very chill. I can listen to podcasts and stuff while I do it, watch streams while I play it, and I have a good time. And that's all I really care about, is having fun while playing video games. I've had to do a lot of PvP quests recently, which haven't been fun because I don't like the PvP in Destiny at all. For the most part, really. It's just so random, and I don't know. I get the people that say that it's not random and you can kind of like pay attention to, what is my saying? Like, you gotta pay attention to like when supers are gonna go off and all kinds of stuff. Like, there are ways to mitigate the randomness of it, or how I feel is random of it. But to me, it's just like, it's silly, unbalanced fun. Like, it doesn't, like, I don't think the Destiny PvP should be balanced, and I don't think it is balanced. Just because it wouldn't, like, especially if it hurts the PvE part, which is the main part of the game. Call of Duty, on the other hand, I don't think should be balanced, but I also don't think there should be such egregious things as the M4 and 7.25, which are, the main assault rifle everyone's using, and basically the only shotgun anyone uses, because it's so fucking consistent, it's ridiculous. But other than that, I don't want to bitch and moan about Call of Duty at all. Other than the fact that, the 7.25 is just fucking amazing and it's ridiculous. Hopefully they nerf it even more than they already did. But yeah, I don't want to talk about Destiny because I swear to God, I think I've talked about Destiny the past 4 podcasts. And I just have a feeling you guys don't give a shit about it, which is fine. You don't, like I said before, don't have to have the same opinion as me, which is fine. But I guess another thing to talk about is Diablo 4 announcement. Overwatch 2 announcement? That that one's a little weirder, if you ask me. I don't care about either of them. I mean, I like Diablo, obviously, like loot games. I mean, like, a lot of people are giving Blizzard shit about the whole, Hong Kong thing, rightfully so. I'm not going to sit here and be like, fucking gamers trying to be political. No, like, I understand why people are outraged and why people don't want to support Blizzard or Activision or any of that stuff anymore. I get it. But, I'm not going to sit here and go, I'll never buy a Blizzard game ever again. Because, honestly, if you're going to say something along those lines and be like, how can I live my life without supporting the injustices that are happening in Hong Kong, then you're going to find it hard to live, especially in America, where a lot of things are outsourced to China. If you really, really wanted to live your life in a way such as that you did not support China in any way, shape, or form with your money, you would find it hard to use any of the shit you own, which is a thing I don't think a lot of the people that are protesting and boycotting Blizzard understand. They're like, oh, this stuff with Hong Kong and China and da-da-da, I'm never buying a Blizzard game again. I'm never going to do this, that, or da-da-da-da. It's like, okay, cool. Stick to it. Like, more power to you if you actually don't ever buy a Blizzard game and stuff. But if you... did you do research? Did you really look into everything? Because you're saying that you're not going to do one thing, but there's way more to this than that. If you really, really wanted to make a difference, you would have to cut out so much shit in your life that it's honestly daunting. iPhones, couldn't use them. Any Samsung product, with the screen, Samsung produced screens, so many different Android phones, couldn't use them. Fucking computer components, good luck. Basically everything has some way to do with, the Chinese market, which is not surprising because it's huge. So I understand taking a stand in one particular thing that you can do and you're willing to do, but it just seems a little silly sometimes when people say stuff like that and they're like, I'm gonna do everything I can to not da-da-da, and then they find out what's really happening and what they would really have to do, and they're like, oh, I don't know anymore. It's also funny to see the immediate turnarounds from people being proclaiming that, the human rights violations and how they're not going to support them, to the posts on Reddit being like, how do I reactivate my Blizzard account because I deleted it and now I saw the trailer for Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 and I want to play them when they come out. Yeah, so maybe think before you do stuff. I don't know. Think critically about things. Obviously, it's a travesty what was going on and what is still going on in Hong Kong, as far as I know that it's still happening, and it hasn't 100% stopped. But, I don't know. It's just, things are complicated. Sometimes you can't just go, I will not buy Chinese, produced products anymore. Because if you 100% wanted to do that, you would find yourself in a position where a lot of the shit you own, you could no longer use, or I guess not use, but upkeep and replace, because it would be incredibly difficult to do so without Chinese, without the Chinese market being a part of that thing. Man, this podcast went all over the place. I just realized that this is all over the place. If you've ever described this podcast to anybody, then congratulations, because even when Trent and I were on this podcast together, it still was fucking all over the place. How do you describe this? It used to be two hosts. They were kind of cool. They laughed, made jokes. And then they stopped doing a podcast for a while. They came back. They were just last podcast. Then they went away. Then one of them came back. And he just talks, and he talks, and he talks, and he talks. And sometimes he gets lost, and he doesn't ever finish a thought, and he just keeps going. Because honestly, I don't think I feel like I had points to make and I didn't make them. And I would go back and re-listen and try to figure out what I was trying to say, but I don't want to. I know there are a couple parts that I need to edit out of this because I yawned, and I'm still kind of sicky because I haven't been able to rest, because working in the United States means that if you get sick and you can't call out, especially when you first start working, because you're on a probationary period where you could be fired for breathing wrong in most companies. And then, so I got sick before my first day, and I've been sick since then, and so I'm all kinds of nasally, and there's this one part that I gotta edit out where I was like because it was really gross, and I don't want you guys to hear that. And I'm just gonna, what if I did an entire episode of the podcast where I was just like this, real close to the microphone, and then, it's just a fucking so this week, there's some news about like how Shroud is doing worse on Mixer than he was on Twitch. But I mean, it's not very obvious why, but other than the fact that there's just not as many people on that channel. I'm not gonna do that. I guess to cap things off, Shroud moved to Mixer. I think I mentioned that a little bit. King Gathalion, a very big Destiny 2, mostly Destiny 2 streamer. He is a variety streamer, but he got his big thing, his big push, and his big part of his community is Destiny and looter, shooter stuff related. He made the switch to Mixer, and, stuff like that is cool. It's fine. His main group of buddies is actually, like, for a while have all been on different platforms. One of the people he plays with a lot is on a Facebook streamer, which, hey, dude, can you, hook Trent up again? Because I would really like to not have to work at Target anymore, and I'd rather do that again. That's not going to be a thing. Oh, boy, that's just not going to be a thing, unfortunately. But, yeah, so, it's not, people are, freaking out, oh, what are you going to do about the stuff and the things? It's we've already been on different platforms. This guy's on Facebook. This other guy was already on Mixer. It's, not that big a deal. I still think it's kind of funny that PewDiePie, out of all the things, decided to go to DLive because, who the fuck uses DLive? Honestly. Does he even stream on there anymore? I don't. Oh, a big announcement that came out is Courage. I don't remember his actual name off the top of my head. It's Courage JD. Cool. I don't know. I don't think the JD's part of it. But he's a Call of Duty. He was a Call of Duty. What's the word I'm looking for? Not announcer. Esports caster. Yeah, he was just a caster, right? Right? I don't know. But he was streaming on Twitch for the majority of his streaming career, and because he stopped casting to start streaming full time, and he did really well. Played a lot of Fortnite, played different Call of Duties that had come out. I think it was only what was before Black Ops 4? World War II. I think did he play World War II? Did he stream that? Or did he just cast it? I don't remember. I'm not really big into the Call of Duty community, especially the pro scene, because they ban fucking everything. And then people are like, well, wait, why aren't they using shotguns? Oh, they never use shotguns. They're always banned. Why don't they use LMGs? Oh, those are always banned. It's so you guys just don't use half the shit in the video, in the fucking game. It's yeah. What? And people wonder why fucking Call of Duty doesn't do well as an esport. It's you guys just straight up go, oh, we're not using that. Why? Because we don't want to. What? It's I don't know. I've never understood this weird honor system and where just straight up whole weapon classes are banned, and it's just I don't fucking understand at all. But anyway, he was a Call of Duty esports caster. Went to Twitch, streamed full time, played with Ninja, played with Dr. Disrespect, all that stuff. And then recently, I think a week ago, maybe a couple days ago, he announced that he's going to stream full time on YouTube. And I went, fucking why? Because so many people that helped YouTube build their YouTube gaming streaming platform have stopped streaming on YouTube because YouTube doesn't seem to give a fuck about them. Brunswick is notoriously known, like between me, Trent, Pixelated Apollo, and Brunswick, as like the reason why Trent went from Facebook to YouTube instead of Facebook to Twitch after his Facebook contract was up. It's because Brunswick was like, your main community is there. Like, the arguments he made fucking sense. The Pixelated Apollo community is mostly on YouTube. It's easier for people to see. And the first stream was really big. It was really, really big. There's like a couple thousand people in Trent's very, very first stream on YouTube coming back from Facebook. It was awesome. But surprise, surprise, YouTube doesn't fucking do anything to actually promote streams. And in fact, if you're a content creator who makes videos and publishes videos, streaming hurts that. So if you want to do one, you can't do the other without impacting your overall views and your time and all. Basically, if you make videos and you upload videos, streaming on YouTube hurts your videos and hurts your overall reach. If you stream on YouTube and all you do is stream and you suddenly want to upload videos, you're going to fuck your streams. You either do one or you do the other, or you make two channels. But the whole point of being able to stream from your main channel where you do things is to engage that audience so you don't have to split it. It's fucking absurd. Obviously, it's all got to do with algorithms and the way YouTube thinks you want to see things, but it's ridiculous that being on the same platform fucks you if you're doing one thing or the other thing. So it's kind of surprising that YouTube would invest in a really big streamer the same way Mixer has been investing in people. But hopefully, I hope the best for him, because obviously competition is good. And if that means YouTube steps their shit up, that's good. But I don't trust YouTube, and I don't think I know anyone who actually does. So I'd be really surprised if they did step their shit up. But yeah, I don't know of any other news in the gaming community as of right now. So I think I'm going to call it quits. Oh, wait, no. That sounds way worse. I think I'm just going to, end this episode and not call it quits. I think I'm going to stop podcasting. That's it. I'm good. That's it. We're good. This is the, whatever. No, yeah, I think that's it for this episode. So we got our Patreon shout outs. I want to say thank you so much to my wife, Allie, for being a $15 patron of the Polishing Podcast Patreon. I just went to the wrong thing. She did not tell me to, say anything specific. So, there's that. I don't, that's a whole thing that you're supposed to do, but she didn't do it. So, oh well. But we have, since I last did an episode, one more patron. And I want to say thank you to both T-Rex with a Shotgun and I think it was... Oh, nope. Wait, what? I already did this. Something. Oh, it's telling me to mark these as complete. Well, that's annoying. Give me 1 second. Oh God, everything's going wrong. There we go. Nathaniel, I also want to thank you for joining the $5 tier. If you want me to say a different name, that is fine. Just, change your name on Patreon or send me a message on Patreon. That's fine too. That works. If you're a patron, you get to say stuff. Leave a comment on this episode of the podcast if you listen to it on Patreon, if you want me to say a different name or whatever. But yeah, I don't want to say your last name because I could probably get there. I mean, if I sounded it out and stuff, I could probably get there. But also, don't want to dox you. That's not very nice. So yeah, thanks guys for supporting the Patreon. Thank you all, everyone else who listens on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere else. You guys are all appreciated. You're all awesome. and I very much appreciate any of all of your support. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like I said again, rate and review it on iTunes, please. It helps the podcast out immensely. And yeah, that's going to be this episode. I hope you would enjoyed it. My name is Nico, otherwise known as Nico All Powerful. If you want to follow me on Twitter, that's at Nico Powerful, NICCO POWERFUL. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.